Okay, hello. It's me again. You know what it is. Nothing's wrong with me. This is track 9 on the album. Its roots are older than any other song on the album. I just remembered literally right before recording this that the melody to this song, like the main melody, is from this track I made in like 2012 called Rectangular Prisms under my old alias Ghost Lawyer. It's a jaunty tune, and I literally forgot that that's where the melody came from until like right before I sat down, and I was like, oh shit, shines a whole new light on it. I struggled more producing this track than any other song on the album. This is like Dear Entity. I don't have to know why. My song Dear Entity is like a close second, but this one was like giving me grief a considerable amount. Creatively, I was struggling with where I wanted to take it, mostly with the chorus. I usually struggle with my choruses. Verses, I crank them out like hotcakes, but choruses just freeze up. But I'm happy with how the song turned out. I'm very pleased. It went from one of my least favorites to one of my favorites by the time I was done with it. So let's just dig into it. Let's just get in there. Let's just rip it apart. Just fillet the meat. If this is your first production breakdown, let's break it down, shall we? If you look at your screen, what I do is I go through all these tracks semi-individually. I mean, I'll group all the synth stuff together. Just kind of, demystify all the stuff one by one until we're done. And I'm pretty haphazard about it, so I'm going to try and maintain peak performance for you. First up, the vocals. There's not much to talk about with the vocals here. I'm going to keep this brief. Basic EQ and compression stuff, and that's stuff I've talked about before. I'm just going to talk about the, creative stuff that I'm doing here, I think. So, the song starts, just with like an instrumental kind of dancey beat. And we've got that fucked up "nothing's wrong with me" mantra right off the bat. To do this, I sampled the chorus of this song. I ran it through Autotune, the Autotune plugin, where I am automating a couple parameters, the transpose and throat length knobs. So observe these knobs. And it's that easy. It's that simple. I do that, and then I run it through EQ. Looks like this. Gets real, crispy. And I think I'm automating reverb too, just for funsies. There's like a reverb envelope, and it starts very wet, and then the reverb dries up as we approach the end of this run. It's like coming towards you, and then the verse drops. The vocals turned out great for this one. They're all pre-rendered, so I can't really show you my effects chain, but I really like my vocals to be super, super clear, sit on top of everything. So, it's just a combination of good EQ and compression and clip gain adjustment, which is slightly more advanced, but very important. That's where you basically manually automate the volume on your vocals to even it out. It's a very worthwhile thing to do. Pick a rhyme, set the time, and dance on the page. Open up. Yeah, I abandoned my crispy vocals for this megaphone type, sound for the chorus. I don't know what else you call it. My computer's not happy. I'm being forced to restart my computer. Sorry, future me. Who has to edit this? I'm back. For someone who spends 12 hours a day on his computer, I experience a lot of technical difficulties. Crush him with EQ, and then add some lovely delay. It's a very, very dreamy delay because I'm trying to be, you know, thematic with my effects processing. And see your destiny. See if that's a real harmony. Nope, that's a fake harmony. I make fake harmonies sometimes. I'll take the lead vocals and duplicate them and then run the duplicated vocals through autotune and just draw the notes that I want. Why do I do this? I don't know. I get performance anxiety. So the less recording I have to do, the better I feel. Nothing's wrong with me, nothing's wrong with me, nothing's wrong. Yeah, anyway, after that section, they get real beefy. I beef them up. I add some distortion and some stereo width. Not sure what else I did. I think I added reverb too. Hold my hand, let's fall in. Yeah, I just wanted. I was trying to take the vocals from, you know, super small to super big. If you can't hear that, that's what I did. Nothing's wrong with me, nothing's wrong with me, nothing's wrong with me. How did I do this? I just sampled one of the harmonies, actually. So that fallen, I think I ran some tremolo through it. And when we get into that instrumental section, we're gonna skip that because there's no vocals. Let's get in the drums. Let's talk about the drums. The drums, there's much to discuss. It's pretty much my same bullshit. I produce all my drums. I like to take, you know, drum samples of the electronic dance variety and layer them with more acoustic sounding drums. Coming hot with the click slap, number 2. I don't know what happened to the first one, but this is the sequel apparently. Yeah, that's what I would call a hot beat. It's a hot one. What all is happening? Let's just break this down. Got 2 kicks. I'm layering 2 kicks. They're both from the Vengeance Essential House 2 sample pack. I've had this for so long, since I was in middle school. That's how long I've had these drum samples. And I'm layering this boy with this one. This one's more subby. It's got more meat. This one's a little punchier. So together they make a beautiful pizza pie. I'm also layering 2 different hats. I'm taking this rock kit hat, which sounds like that gets layered with this boy, also from Vengeance Essential House. Oh, I'm using a 707 snare and layering that with this Vengeance snare. I don't know. I haven't looked at what I did with these drums in easily a year, a full year. Guess every instrument here is layered. There's 2 layers of the kick, there's 2 layers of the hats, there's 2 layers of the snare. And I can't say it makes a ton of sense, but it sounds good to me, so. I have this like hi-hat trill that happens every now and then, which that's a whole nother hi-hat sample altogether from Vengeance. Of course. What's this? Oh, that's the snap. I'm using a Vengeance snap sample. These drums are all Vengeance. I mean, not literally, but mostly Vengeance. Every time I have a snap sample, unless it's literally, you know, 2 snaps, if you're in FL Studio, you'll want the stereo enhancer plugin, but it's a Haas effect situation where it separates the timing of the left and the right. So there's like a slight delay between the 2, so you hear 2 snaps. I mean, I use this effect when mixing on a lot of things, but I always do it on snaps for some reason. I think it's very cool on snaps because you get that tooth, you know, that situation. This one, that's good shit. That's a very fun fill. I always talk about how I just enjoy producing drums by hand. In every video, I always talk about it at some point. And I mean, like, the short of it is when you're drawing your drums by hand, I mean, there's pros and cons to it, but among the pros, you can micromanage every single nuance of the drums and every drum fill until you are totally satisfied with it. It gives me the opportunity to be, you know, creative with my drum fills. That's just one of those fills that I don't think I ever would have played. I don't even think that's possible to play. It's just me fucking around and doing stuff like this. I think it's a deluxe percussive moment. And then when we arrive at the first verse, the drums kind of step back a little bit. Oh, there's a third kick that comes in just for the verses. It's this boy. He's a little softer than the boy we were just playing with. We just kind of revert to four on the floor kicks here.
Can you make a change? Step in line and get to it. Do it again. What do you?
I think this here is a twist on that fill that I just showed you. I never noticed that I did that. Yeah, it gets a little more zest the second time around because the drums are coming back in with a vengeance, if you'll pardon the pun, because they're vengeance.
Do it again. What do you?
The drum bus, I slapped a sound goodizer on it. Wow, that's not something I normally do. There's a lot of stigma around the sound goodizer. It's just this big knob. You slap it on there, and it makes it sound good. It's just Maximus, which is a multi-band compressor mastering plugin. This is just that, but instead of like an interface, you just get this big knob and 4 presets. Anyway, that's on there. Just some lo-fi, some bit crushing is happening to the whole drum bus. That's why you hear a little bit of fuzz on everything, like a little bit of white noise static. I like it. 98 degrees. Wow, all right. Apparently my computer is overheating. Holy Jesus. Guess I'm gonna take a moment and let it cool down. Fans are blasting, we're having a good time. So, we get to the chorus, and I put together this, kind of break beat thing from the Jazz Kit preset of FPC, a Fruity Loops native plugin. It's a drum rack, basically. I thought it was pretty cool. I was darn pleased. They sound all wonky because I threw an effect rack on there. Here they are without that stuff. Soundtoys plugins are amazing. Decapitator is a phenomenal distortion plugin. That is originally what led me to Soundtoys. I was just gonna buy that one, but this, they priced the suite in a very tempting manner. Oh yeah, this is automating that effect rack plugin, so all that distortion and EQ crushing undoes itself at the very tail end here, and then we go into the real drums. Whatever I'm doing here, it's just some Tom March thing. I love this moment. We get this clap clap. Let's go. I've done this a couple times in the album. Same thing happens in If We Die. There's something just so stimulating about 2 claps and then an eruption. And then we're right back into the drums from, the verse, basically. I have some really quiet variations in the drums happening here. And this is me, feeling like this section was too repetitive. I'm gonna sprinkle some stuff in there to make it a little more interesting. This sequence is called Fun Perk. I think all it's doing is... That's all it is. It's just some toms real quick. Yeah, I don't know. It's not something you notice. I don't even know if it's doing anything for you, but it's there. It's happening. I love this moment right here when we're coming out of it, because it sounds like there's a snare roll happening, but those are just the hats. That's all that is. But it's just so satisfying to me. And then we get a new kick sample. There's so far I've counted 4 different kick samples being used in this song. This is just a Lynn drum kick. And it's just like a low pass situation.
If something doesn't,
this bell here, this big ding, it's a boxing bell sample
if something,
that I reversed and then unreversed. It's got a ton of reverb on it, but that's what it is. It's supposed to be like, get back in there, you got more shit to do. There's another verse to get through.
if something doesn't,
Just trying to be clever with my effects. Hope you like it.
let's go join the fun and see it through to the end. Our righteous raucous noise will rattle rock.
Then we got some shakers that come in, panned hard right. Let's give it a little more energy. On top of that, I think there's a tambourine that keeps coming back.
Our righteous raucous noise will.
It's a tambourine with a reverse tambourine right before it, so it's just a little, it's just more, it makes it ethereal. Ethereal is a word that I'm just going to keep using for things that I don't know how to describe. Ghostly. Genius. Genius. I'm just kidding. I mean, it's okay. Coming up at the end of this last chorus, we get the most angry drum moment. Going full blast with the rock snares here. It's conveying that emotion. Let me get back into it. I won't retread what I've already discussed. Alright, that's the drums. I'm gonna call this halfway. After drums, we talk about bass. Bass is interesting. It's all synth bass. I started this song in like 2015, so there are many discarded ideas, and this is the original bass line. And it's still the original bass line. I just added. This plucky bass has a lot of the sub taken out. It starts dipping down, you know, around the 150 mark. And then after that, just gets a ton of fruity, fast distortion on it. I think it's EQ'd again for some reason. I don't know why I did this. I'm sure I just slapped an EQ on it and was just going by ear. I know this looks stupid. I am stupid. But it sounds good. And it's also got a little bit of stereo width to it, so it distinguishes it from the sub bass. I was able to pull these two bass lines off, you know, without them fighting too much, you know, without it getting too muddy. This is probably the most boldly, you know, electronic, dancey sounding. Maybe video gamey is the best way to describe it. It's the most electronic and video gamey sounding bass line, I think, in any song on the album. And I love it. I think it's super cool. It had to match the drums. I thought about tracking bass guitar on this, but I ultimately decided to keep the synth stuff. Yeah, that sub bass is following along with the plucky bass. So under it, the sub's doing extended notes, and the pluck bass is doing, you know, those are eighth notes. Super bizarre walk-up thing. I don't know how I came up with that, but it's cool. Bass drops out for the chorus, just to kind of leave us hanging out in the open. Kind of makes it a little more airy. The bass is following along with this chugging guitar that's happening. I think that's the main purpose it serves, is just to reinforce this chugging, you know, action that's happening. They're following along. The guitar is playing the same melody as the bass. This big slide thing, this is the bass slurp, as I like to call it. The distortion gets cranked up a ton here. I automate little radiator on it. It amplifies it and blows it out just to get like real in your face this one moment before we regress back in the instrumental. I don't know why I'm describing it that way. We're just chugging along as we do. Alright, I think that's enough about the bass. What do you think? I'm gonna move on anyway. We've got guitar to discuss. Got spooks. It is a little spooky. All my guitars direct in. This guitar is treated by an Echo Boy. It's a delay. It's a Soundtoys delay plugin. And it gets some EQ. It's being thickened according to this preset I decided to use on it for some reason. And then I decided to take matters in my own hands. Wow. Major reductions there. It's just riddled with like resonant frequencies, I guess. It's just the intro guitar, so it's just cultivating atmosphere. And the guitar doesn't really do much for a while until we get halfway through the verse.
Do it again. What do you want?
The chugs are like the definitive instrumental gesture. This song was built on chugs. I'm using 2 takes of chugs. One take is panned hard left, one's panned hard right, so we get a broad stereo image of chugging. Also panned pretty far to the right, these open chord things that I'm playing here. Where's that coming from? Ah, yeah, that's my amp. Not all my guitar is direct in. I do mic my amp sometimes, and for some reason I decided to mic it for this. Gives it some cool contrast. Chugs drop out for the chorus, chorus strips down until it's not stripped down, i.e. the halfway mark. And the chugs come back in a more elaborate fashion. I was trying to reinforce the bass line here. Then it's back to the regular verse chugs for the instrumental. And we're doing that until the spooks from the intro come back, because I can't introduce spooks and not have them come back at least once. So the spooks come back. We get a new twist on verse 2. The theme of this song, like structurally, it's like every section halfway through, it gets some more sauce. And so I don't know if that makes any sense. Halfway through verse 2, we get some new splibbies. I was kind of grasping at straws, like it was missing something, and apparently what it acquired were these splibbies. Saving lives at the same time. The wackiest stuff is happening here at the end of the last chorus. We get this new distorted guitar just kind of that just cuts through. Nothing's wrong with me. 2 takes of that panned hard left, hard right, just synced up, as perfectly as I could get it. My second favorite part of the song is just this moment with that guitar and the snare. It's just a very rock and roll moment. Let's not forget the solo. I forgot I had a solo at the end here. This is the weirdest, the most, contrived solo I think I have ever written. And it was originally halfway through the song. It was in the middle, and it was bizarre there, and it was a weird solo. It was different. I just did 8 takes of improv, just super frustrated because I couldn't come up with anything that sounded good. So I took all those solos and spliced together this solo from all the takes. It was kind of a manufactured solo. I mean, I played all of it, but I didn't play all of it at the same time, if that makes sense. I don't know. After I was done with it, every time I listen to this, I like it a little bit more. I'm like, this is the best way to end this song. There you go. That's the guitar. Let's close this out. Talking about the synths. This is a very synthy song. This song is dominated by synths. This melody was the genesis of the song. It's from that Ghost Lawyer song I referenced at the beginning of this video. I already had this melody and then I decided to, add lyrics to it, and this song resulted from it. What the fuck is up? There are a lot of discarded synth ideas in here, but I ended up with what the fuck is up for this intro. Using some just amazing omnisphere stuff. Gentle vibrato bell verb. I EQ'd the balls out of it here, and then I EQ'd the anus out of it here. So collectively, it gets de-balled and de-anused. A lot of compression. That's all that is. You hear the volume pumping action. That's the sidechain. I have like a global sidechain on this song that a lot of things are being run through. These, wow, these are like wow chords. A Moog preset. Music Citrus. I think this is the first time I brought Citrus up. Citrus goes way back. Citrus is an FL Studio synth. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was introduced one of the first versions. It's so good. I mean, it used to be the shit. Everybody and their mother was all over Citrus. I don't think that's the case so much anymore, but still awesome. Yeah, coming in on the verse. This is my favorite Nexus patch, LD Chillin' House Lounge. It is featured in almost every single song on the album. In some fashion, with some twist on it. It sounds a little different in every song, but it's in everything. And then there's a Omnisphere patch over that. Signs of Disillusionment, I think. This is just hinting at the chorus melody, which is yet to come. See if I drag it out here, it reveals the whole melody. Super video gamey. I'm thinking like Super Mario RPG as I listen to this, and I don't know if I was thinking about that at the time, but I'm just getting that vibe. Chino's Forest. I think that's the energy that's being channeled here. So one of these, the bell verb, gets opened up a ton. The bell verb synth for the second half gets moved up an octave, and then we get this arpeggio that's happening under it. Yeah, that's such a definitive synth for this song. The main melody here just gets some new layers. And the whole time there's this super long reverse sweep, kind of whooshes us up into the moment of truth here. The decay gets killed, it gets shut off. I have to automate a bunch of things to make that work. Well, actually it disappears when the claps come in. It's a dramatic switch up. It's very much an EDM thing to do, I think. All this instrumental section is just the verse, basically, without the vocals over it. But I throw in some little action here. It's just some atmosphere. It's Sakura doing double duty. It's being bit crushed a buttload. Just a little bit of don't go in there effects under that. So it's just playing these teeny tiny little notes. It sounds like a whistle. I love it. It's a little whistling happening. It's just kind of creepy. This song has like major spooky undertones. I can't say they're overtones because they're not that overt. It's still got spooky undertones. And after that, it's all stuff that we've heard. For the second instrumental, we get to be delighted by these outro bloops. I'm a big fan of this. Using 3X OSC, one of my favorite synths. It's a native FL Studio synth. It's just 3 oscillators, very simple interface. I'm just going with this teeny tiny little saw that's playing us out here. There's a cutoff on these outro bloops. They're more bleeps, maybe blips. There's a cutoff on them, and they just open up very slowly until we get to the solo. You just, doing a little bit of work just to keep us moving, keeping that like adrenaline pumping. And maybe it's the suspense. It's a suspenseful thing to do, I think. Playing with cutoff filters and automating things. Automating things keeps your mix fresh. That's the overarching message I'm trying to sell here. It's that just automate everything that you can. Keeps stuff interesting. I think I was very unsure about this for some reason. I was like, whoa, maybe I can layer this solo with my synths and it'll sound cool. Whoa, crazy idea. Maybe it'll work. I think it worked. These last 4 measures of the song are like, it's leftover. It's one of these ingredients that used to be like in the middle of the song. The song used to have a very different structure. And like I completely deleted it until I decided to just tack it on here at the end, just to really send the confusing, angry theme that this song seems to embody. It ends on a kind of triumphant note, which is the irony of the song. This is like a triumphant song, in a very ironic way, because you've accomplished nothing. The song's about like being a musician and thinking that you're going to save the world that way, and it's like there are much more tangible ways to do it, but let's just keep pretending that that's how it is. It makes me feel good. Okay. That's it. That's everything. Another one down the hatch. I'm grateful if you've watched this far. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If there's anything that you wanted me to go more in depth in that I glossed over, just let me know. Comment or hit me up in any fashion. I'll tell you all about it. Good stuff. I'll see you for the next one. Stay safe out there. Toodles. That's not a good sign off. How about this? Keep it real. Keep it poppin'. Bye-bye.